Chinese people, the value of tea surpasses the sum of its parts: purest water, custom utensils, quality leaves. China discovered and made tea. Then, over time, something profound happened. Tea made China.
Nature chose China for tea, and you could also say tea formed Chinese culture. It aligns with our philosophy, spirit, and style of living. Human beings are full of scars, no matter what their nationality or history. The culture of tea eases the pain of the soul.
In China, whether you're rich or poor, tea is an indispensable part of each of the day's 3 meals. Emperor and peasant, man and woman, young and old, all Chinese drink tea. We recommend having 6 to 8 grams of tea a day, the same consumption as England or Japan. This is around 2 or 3 cups, but we'll brew the same batch 3 times for each cup of tea.
More abiding than each cup's impression on the tongue is its footprint on civilization. Tea is a time-honored fixture in Chinese social settings, the great unifier bringing people together.
Besides quenching thirst, drinking tea is fundamental to the way Chinese socialize. Above all is the communication it facilitates. No matter whether it's a business discussion or an intimate conversation between close friends, we do it over a cup of tea. It happens in a personal space and a public space.
In the personal space, tea is a powerful accessory to matters of the heart. Tea can be used initially to endorse budding relationships and later to finalize the marriage ritual.
Tea and marriage go very much together in Chinese culture. Since tea trees blossom often and yield many seeds, we associate them with human fertility. And since the life of a tree can last hundreds or even thousands of years, the association between tea and marriage is meant to impart longevity and vitality to the couple.
When a girl and boy have been dating and reach the point of considering marriage, they will bring each other to visit their respective parents. The parents will serve tea to their potential daughter-in-law or son-in-law. If the parents recognize their daughter or son's partner, they will add sugar into the tea. The tea is sweet, suggesting the approval of the match. My husband is Pan Cheng, the very handsome gentleman here in our wedding photo. On my wedding day, you can see that I was dressed in red, a color that in China suggests happiness and jubilation. According to the traditional Chinese marriage custom, on the wedding day, the bride serves the groom's parents 2 cups of tea to express, "I am joining this family."
In the public space, tea houses, the Chinese equivalent of Western coffee shops, promote relationships among friends, sweethearts, and business associates.
There are about 90,000 tea houses in China now. Different tea houses have their own specialties. They have as widely divergent personalities as people do.
One of Hangzhou City's most beloved tea houses is located in the bottom floor of a popular hotel. Here, the clientele convene primarily for business.
This tea house was opened back in 1996. At the time, we thought about many names and finally chose Ivy Tea House because it conjures up the pleasant idea of sitting in a garden to sip one's tea. Our upper floors are hotel rooms. Since most of the hotel guests are business people, many like to have a booth in our tea house to meet their guests. It's like an office and a living room together. Each country in the world has its own traditions around which people connect and form bonds. Drinking tea is that tradition in China, and drinking it occurs at all times of the day. Most Chinese just keep adding hot water to the pot. During the process of brewing and serving, we talk to each other and we get closer.
Sipping seems to unlock the meditative magic of tea. Those interested in being entertained can bear witness to a tea ceremony, a lovely bit of theater performed to demonstrate the virtues of well-made tea.
The ceremony is less about performance than the process of making tea. From start to finish, it completes an arc. First, we put out the tea set and warm the cups. When we pour in the tea, a pleasing aroma wafts up. With more hot water, the different scents may result. And with enough water, it's finally ready for drinking. Every step is quite lovely in itself, but we like our customers to experience the beauty of the entire process. All of China's 56 ethnic groups have a tea ceremony. This is a very important ritual and expresses multiple aspects of tea, going far beyond its capacity to quench thirst. It shows how to brew tea correctly, how to perform the phoenix nodding head 3 times, how to use the left hand as a token of politeness and the right hand as a token of respect, how to pour tea, and how to serve tea.
For dragonwell and other green teas, the Phoenix method is recommended to oxygenate the water and improve the taste of the tea. The 3 nods symbolize making 3 bows to guests as a gesture of respect. He Tea House, located at the foot of a Hangzhou monastery, is a prime meditative space that houses eye-catching antiques. 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, patrons come here to experience tea culture in action.
The pace of our tea house is slow and deliberate. Customers often stay 90 minutes to 2 hours. Sometimes they take long walks between servings, though certainly drinking tea is the main purpose of their visit. Generally speaking, people come here to relax. Our tea house is an escape from the pressures of a big city. Here, they can take a deep breath, literally and figuratively. The culture of tea represents some of the most glorious aspects of the last 4,700 years of Chinese history. The more I've learned about it, the more I've wanted to share it with all the people who pass through my tea house.
Tea permeates China's service industry beyond its countless watering holes. Even the country's most eminent, high society restaurants make room for humble tea, like a distinguished dinner guest.
Bai Courtyard is famous in Beijing as well as all over China. It was originally a palace. A member of the Bai family renovated the courtyard 20 years ago and developed it into a restaurant. Every detail of this courtyard shows the cultural heritage of the Qing dynasty. It also has some dishes from the palace, which offer some rare and exotic tastes. Tea is tightly connected with dining, not only in this restaurant, but also in every restaurant in the country. The dining experience is incomplete without tea, which is on the table from the beginning to the end of the meal.
As a consultant to the Bai Courtyard restaurant, Mr. Wang advises the young servers on the rules of tea brewing. These young women, dressed and trained in Qing Dynasty imperial style, are called Ge, daughters of the emperor.
I want to talk to you about the brewing of oolong tea. Oolong tea is also our kung fu tea. When we really talk about Chinese tea, to my mind, we're talking about kung fu tea. Kung fu tea refers to our oolong tea. Just like the name says, it takes time.
Across China, different tea production regions have their own unique traditions. In Chaozhou, famous for oolong, tea is served in a unique round tea set with only 3 tiny cups for sharing.
There's a common saying in Chaozhou: tea is for 3, wine is for 4, and playing is for 2. Drinking tea, there are 3 people. The number 3 is important in Chinese philosophy. It's a window into the culture of the people who think of 3 in terms of heaven, earth, and man. Drinking tea is a happy event. It is important to bring down the psychological barriers between people.
By far the most critical component in advancing Chinese tea culture is education. The Tea Culture College of Zhejiang Agriculture and Forestry University leads the charge in educating China's young tea scholars.
Students can study the science of tea, the art of tea, or the business of tea.
那么，这门课呢，要求大家具有非常敏锐的感官的认识和一个嗅觉和味觉的一个判定。
There is a high quality we all insist upon. So first, we see if the tea meets the standard. Then we smell the tea to see how it holds up within its particular variety. And finally, we taste it. So see, smell, and taste.
In the classroom across the hall, students practice the subtleties of serving the 6 varieties of Chinese tea.
走到客人面前，请先行躬身礼。很好，把茶盘放下，拿起离客人最近的那杯茶，放到客人面前，要对他说：“请用茶。”客人请轻点桌面或者鞠躬行谢谢礼啊。
At the other end of the spectrum of tea knowledge are China's tea masters, who know tea in all its glory. For Chaozhou's Gongfu tea expert, Han Zhongye, oolong tea has a special aesthetic that by the right hands can be modeled into art. Ye's craft is called Cha Bai Xi, water painting on tea. Where there is family, friendship, food, and learning, tea culture is there, closing gaps, forging bonds. The deep and complex social customs bound up with this drink are meant to be shared and enjoyed, just like a warm cup of tea.
Tea has often been seen as being as good for a person as friendship, flowers, or being surrounded by physical beauty. So I advise all my friends to drink more tea.